Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Sandat Pranam. Thank you for joining for this morning Bhagavatam class. We'll start with the Kirtan. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jai Radha Madhav Radhe Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gora Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल we'll start with the prayers ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्य देवाय गोब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् ॐ अपवित्रः पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थान् गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं सबाह्याभ्यन्तरं शुचिः श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Standard Pranam. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome you all to the Saturday morning of Srimad Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna, Santosh Aditya Prabhu, Shilpa Mataji, Vanilla Mataji, Hare Krishna, Kamya Mataji, Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji, Hare Krishna, Lilananda Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Murlidhar Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Meena Mataji, Hare Krishna, Praveen Prabhu, Puja Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा माताजी
दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी।
हरे कृष्णा माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा माताजी।
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा माताजी
हरे कृष्णा श्रीजा माताजी शिवजी प्रभु थैंक यू सो मच फॉर
हरे
जॉइनिंग।
कृष्णा माताजी
हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा। So today we are actually discussing the last few verses of the chapter 10th chapter of the 7th canto, and this is basically about Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees. That is the title of the chapter. So to give you a brief of what happened so far. So we know that nature of a Vaishnava is always to find joy in honoring another Vaishnava and glorifying other devotees. So whatever little things that other devotees do, Vaishnavas usually magnify that and find joy in glorification of that. So similarly, Yudhishthir Maharaj, here there are two Vaishnavas who are actually discussing. One is Yudhishthir Maharaj and one is Narada Muni. They are discussing among themselves, and Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking a question to Narada Muni, that how is it possible that Shishupal, who is envious of Krishna, has been given Sayujya Mukti. So Shishupal, for the offenses that he has done, in fact, Krishna was counting them. So the kind of offenses Shishupal had done, actually he deserves some kind of hellish destination, right? He should, like, one may think that he might burn in hell and he might be fried in hell and all that. But we see that ultimately at the time, he's personally killed by Krishna using his Sudarshan Chakra. The paraphernalia is Krishna's. So paraphernalia is non-different from Krishna. So if Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's glories, Krishna's pastimes, his paraphernalia, including Sudarshan Chakra, the flute, everything is actually non-different from Krishna. So which means that Krishna is personally touching Shishupal and actually killing him. So how is this even possible? What is this kind of happily ever after ending for Shishupal? How is this even possible? Because if Krishna has personally killed, which means that a soul actually gets liberated, and he is suddenly transported or transmigrated from this world of birth and death, from all the entanglements. He suddenly directly posted into the spiritual world. Then how is this possible? So Yudhishthira is asking this question. So then Narada Muni actually explains it in a certain way. But if we have to understand this, what we have to first understand is that based on our certain rules and regulations, that we think that Krishna has to do this way because such and such person deserves a certain destination, so Krishna will act like this only, or a certain such puja and vidhi is done, so the result has to be this only. If we do a certain activity, it has to have a certain result that may apply to us, somewhat does not apply to us also sometimes, but it does not apply to Krishna. Krishna is the master of his own will. He has no restrictions. And we categorize sometimes that what Lord can do or cannot do, we are putting him into different brackets. But Lord sees only devotion, and he does not consider material considerations. So for people who are materially present, may see only Shishupal's present activities and decide that, okay, because of his sins, he should deserve a certain destination. But Krishna knows past, present, future. Krishna knows that Shishupal is actually his own servitor, who is basically Jaya Vijaya's reincarnation. So he puts them in, and he had given a certain promise to them that once you finish your three births as my greatest enemies, then you will be coming back to me. So this was a gateway. The Sayujya Mukti is actually a gateway through which Krishna opens the doors for them back home. And so therefore we understand that Krishna is causelessly merciful. He is beyond formalities, and he could liberate anyone anytime. Even the most aghama papis like us or me can also dream of such things, though I don't deserve, or I can't even dream. But who knows? One day Krishna might be all merciful and he can decide, and he can put me anywhere, wherever he needs a service, whether it is as a stone in as a rock or a pebble in Goloka, or whether it is in a hellish planet serving him. And so it could be anything. A destination could be anything. But Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatat Bhakti Rahaitukitva. That's only thing that we can always pray for. So Narada Muni here, a greatest Vaishnava, one of the greatest Mahajans, is actually, he's taking this opportunity to tell the whole story of Prahlad Maharaj in this chapter. And he's, in fact, if we see actually Prahlad Maharaj's guru is Narada Muni. And but only probably in the Bhakti's parampara only we will see that a guru is always glorifying the disciple, and disciple is always glorifying the guru. So they are mutually glorifying each other all the time, and everybody is glorifying each other. So this is the wonderful nature where we don't see envy, we don't see jealousy, we don't see pride or the Shad Anarthas. we actually see one is always glorifying the other. And that was what actually attracted me also to Krishna consciousness, where I found that this is some heavenly place where everybody is smiling, and there is nobody is actually what is that pulling each other down, unlike whatever we see outside in the material world. So little Prahlad could approach the all ferocious Narsingadev when Brahma or Lakshmi could not approach. And none of the devatas dared to even go near Narsimhadev. But Prahlad Maharaj, one of the greatest devotees again, is able to approach Narsimhadev, is able to talk to him, is able to calm him down. And that is the beauty of the Lord and disciple relationship. So the great always like to see the great in others, and that's what we are seeing, that actually Narad Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj are actually relishing the greatness of others. And when Yudhishthir Maharaj hears about Prahlad Maharaj, he becomes very ecstatic and he asks, what can I do for Krishna? Like, Prahlad Maharaj could do so much, but what can I do? What is my capacity? So Narada Muni is again glorifying Pandavas also. That because Krishna regularly visited Pandavas' place, and he personally engaged with all the Pandavas in some form or the other. Like with Yudhishthir Maharaj is actually an elderly cousin, and for Krishna, because his Kunti Maharani is his aunt, his bua, and Yudhishthir Maharaj and all the cousins of Pandavas are their children. So he's actually bowing down because Yudhishthir Maharaj is elder to him. But does it mean that Krishna is only respecting them because they are related? Can we say that? Is Krishna appreciating Pandavas or lovingly interacting with Pandavas only because he is related? What do you all say? Hare Krishna?
Because
Anyone?
they are his devotees too.
They are devotees, great devotees.
Yes. His devotees. Because if it is only relation, Kamsa is also related. Kamsa is Mama. Did he bow down to Kamsa? And all these people that we are seeing, Shishupal and everybody is related to him. They're all from Yadu dynasty. But is Krishna bowing down to them? No.
Because they are favorable for this too.
Yes, Krishna is bowing down to them because they have devotion in their hearts. They have love in their hearts. So Yudhishthir has that devotion for Krishna, and Arjuna has a friendly devotion with Krishna. Everybody is engaging in different rasas with Krishna. Like Kunti Maharani has Vatsalya for Krishna, like that. So proof is that Kamsa was older, but Krishna did not bow down. But here he's having loving exchanges with the Pandavas. So relationship is not the reason, but actually devotion is the reason. So Narad Muni was actually narrating all this, that how Pandavas are so glorious. And so he should not think that, okay, he's not done anything. They are glorious. That's the reason why Krishna is interacting. In like that, Krishna, like Narad Muni, talks about glorification of Krishna. And in that sequence of narration of glorifications, he narrates this, the demigods are how demigods are always completely dependent on mercy of Lord Krishna, and that Krishna always shelters those who surrender to him. So then he started sharing the story of Maya Danava, which we are going to check today. The verses which are allocated to me are 56 to 70 of this chapter, the 10th chapter of the 7th canto. So demigods were always powerful, right? Because they are empowered by Krishna for their respective roles, and they have been given a certain abode which has special facilities. So demigods are all powerful, and they defeated asuras also. Now, what happened after defeating asuras? Asuras approached Maya Danava. Who is Maya Danava? He's a very great mystic, a siddhi who has a lot of mystical power because he's been a great yogi. And we will see that usually when devotees are in trouble, whom do we take shelter of? We take
Narasimha Bhagavatam.
Yeah, we take shelter of Krishna and his avatars. But when demons are in trouble, they are taking shelter of somebody for their somebody who can facilitate this, but without devotion in it. There is no touch of devotion here. So they approach this Maya Danava, who actually built these three magnificent abodes for them with his mystical powers. Such magnificent abodes, which could also fly in the air, which could disappear, which could be invisible anytime, which could appear suddenly. And even the Maya Danavas could actually hide in them. And they now started attacking the demigods. And all the Devatas, they were actually defeated by the Asuras. And so Devatas, when they are in trouble, they run towards Lord Shiva. Why? Because Lord Shiva is the father of this material universe and the greatest of Vaishnavas also. So the first level of hierarchy, they actually approach there, and they start expressing their distress that we are in trouble, so please save us. So, and but from this series of events, what do we see? That we know, right, that even the heavenly planets, the Devatas, everybody is a part of the material universe. If we understand the whole creation, the creation is made of spiritual universe and the material universe. What is there in the spiritual world is all spiritual. It comprises 3/4 of the entire creation, and it is created by Krishna's internal potency. But when we desired that we also wanted to enjoy, like the Parama Purusha, Krishna created a material universe with the 16 elements for us to be able to enjoy within it, to be able to have experience the different opulences and fulfill our desire. So, but we know that when it is created within the material world, everything is temporary. And so therefore, whatever you get is also temporary here. Material universe is the only place where Kala and Karma are the factors which can be considered. There is no Kala Karma in the spiritual world. So whatever comes here has a predefined time. There is a time that it gets created. There is a time it gets annihilated. So therefore, whether one is situated in heavenly planets, whether one is situated in Brahmaloka, whether one is situated in hellish planets, everything is subject to annihilation. Brahma Bhuvanal Loka Punaravartino Arjuna is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? So wherever you are born, whether you are even, you become a demigod or a devata in this material universe, you are still subjected to the miseries of the material world, right? It does not mean that they are all successful and all the time happy. They are also in distress so many times and put in distress by demons, right? Because it's a part of the material universe. So however good, so how does one reach the heavenly planets is by doing a lot of pious karmas. In earthly planet, when you do a lot of pious karmas and you have accumulated a lot of credits in your balance sheet, credits and debits ka balance sheet, you have accumulated a lot of credits. That's when you get a birth in the heavenly planets, or you could become a demigod also. But what are we seeing? They are far more. If we are thinking of Ambani, Adani, or we are thinking of Elon Musk and Bill Gates or anything, they are billionaires of this world. But the demigods or the devatas are basically billionaires in exponential way compared to the earthly planets, right? But still, are they happy all the time? Suddenly, out of the blue, one fine day, the demons attack and they are about to lose their lives. And we have seen that the kind of distress that they face is much more like overnight, they are like out of their abode. Overnight, everything shatters. Even here, it can shatter with earthquakes, tsunamis, and everything. We have seen the fire in California, how everything just goes for a toss in a blink of an eye. Nobody can determine. And that is the nature of this. So though even one may say that I have everything and I am having a happy family, I'm having an opulent life. I can fend for whatever I need. I can buy whatever I want. I can fulfill all my desires. So therefore, I am in a good place. I'm in a happy place, and I would want to take birth again and again here. We may think like that. But are we free from birth, death, disease, and old age in this material universe? We are not. Everybody is subjected to that. And that is the greatest distress, right? Loss of somebody very near and dear is the greatest distress. And loss is a predefined condition in this material universe. So, if mrityu is there, so therefore, there is no way that one can say that I'm always happy, because slowly and steadily, when starts seeing the near and dear actually move on, then that creates distress. So therefore, definitely as humans, as the souls which have that spiritual nature, we are spirit souls in a material body. And the spirit soul actually, especially in the human body, has the power to find out the solution to all these problems. No other living entity has that power, but the humans have been empowered to explore the reality and the real nature. So Athato Brahma Jigyasa is something that only humans can do. And therefore, they should necessarily utilize their life in finding that solution that can give them a permanent solution, like a permanent relief from this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. That is the basic fundamental thing that one has to do in this lifetime. As it is, we have very small lifetime. We have only 100 years to live. In that, by the time we realize all these truths, we are already past our half mark, half century ho gaya. And then after that also, if we keep thinking we are in illusion that we are in a safe place, then when is it that we are actually going to find out all this and perfect our lives? So the life gets wasted. The lifetime that is given to us gets wasted. So we should know that there is no safe haven in this entire universe, and that padam padam yat vipadam natesham is what Krishna says is, and it is true for all, even including devotees. It's not that devotees are immune to this. Devotees also are subjected to miseries. But what do devotees think? Every day that I'm closer to death is what in material world one might fear. Like after every birthday, I keep thinking that, okay, one more year has gone. I'm getting older. So we may think I'm getting closer to death, but the devotees think I'm getting closer to the eternal life, to Krishna, and to our spiritual abode. So that is the difference between what a devotees think. So they rejoice the birthday because they're not in anxiety for getting closer to death, but rather they are in happiness that we are getting closer to Krishna. So though we are thinking that we are the doer and we want praise and credit for every little thing that we are doing, but why don't we advertise that Krishna is the doer? So for everything that is happening with us, we should remember that we are not the controllers. So this whole verses is going to talk about these different aspects, how we are seeing demigods in distress, whom they are approaching when they are in distress, and ultimately, who is the supreme controller? Are we the supreme controllers? What is the destination of those who think we are the supreme controllers? What is the destination of one who thinks Krishna is the supreme controller? And so that is what is these few verses about. Though there is not much if we see, but I was actually preparing based on I was very lucky to come upon lectures given by Radhanath Maharaj actually on this. And I was thinking how Maharaj is actually so beautifully, even in smallest of things. I mean, there is nothing much. If you see in these 16 verses, there is no purport also much. But with the smallest of things, just a word he picks up and he's able to give profound wisdom out of that. And I was like awestruck that how he's coming up with all these things. So whatever today I am speaking, none of them is my words. Everything is what I've heard from Maharaj's lecture. So, and that is always my attempt, that I don't try to kind of speak my mind, that rather I try to take something which is coming from the acharyas, and that is my attempt. But just in case I make some errors and mistakes, please do forgive me. But I would try to share the best as it is, whatever I have heard. Yatha Shruti, Yatha Tathama, whatever that it says, whatever I've heard, exactly, I will try to repeat that. So, uh, so here we will now see the first shloka, which is come. So that was a brief description. One is that it was setting the context of what happened so far. Also, it is setting the context of what should our attitude be towards these shlokas. It's not just a storyline which is going, but there is profound wisdom even within this, and we will explore that wisdom today. So we'll start with text 56. ततस्ते शेश्वरालोका उपासाद्येश्वरं नता त्राहिनस्तावकान् देव विनष्टां त्रिपुरालयै. Anybody wants to volunteer for translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'll read.
Yes, Mataji.
Translation Sampurpat Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Thereafter, when the demons had begun to destroy the higher planetary systems, the rulers of those planets went to Lord Shiva, fully surrendered unto him, and said, "Dear Lord, we demigods living in the three worlds are about to be vanquished. We are your followers. Kindly save us."
Text 57. अथानुगृहय भगवान् मा भैष्टेति सुरान् विभु शरं धनुषि सन्धाय पुरेष्वस्त्रं व्यमुञ्चत. Translation, anybody?
The most powerful and able Lord Shiva reassured them and said, "Do not be afraid." He then fixed his arrows to his bow and released them towards the three residences occupied by the devils.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Tato Agnivarna Ishava Utpetu Surya Mandalat Yatha Mayukha Sandoha Nadrishyanta Puroyata. Anybody?
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
I'll do
Mataji.
it again.
Anyone can do. Nirupama Mataji, you can do.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'll read Mataji. Translation. Attacked by Lord Shiva's golden arrows, all the
Mataji,
demonic
this one, sorry.
inhabitants.
The arrows released by Lord Shiva. This one, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. The arrows released by Lord Shiva appeared like fiery beams emanating from the sun globe and covered the three residential airplanes, which could then no longer be seen. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the storyline. Demons attacked. Demigods took shelter of Lord Shiva. Now Lord Shiva is using fury weapons, and he is, and he destroyed the demons. Arrows released by Lord Shiva appeared like fury beams emanating from sun globe. तैस्पृष्टाव्यसवः सर्वे निपेतु स्म पुरो कश तान् आनीय महायोगी मयः कूपरसे क्षिपत्. Anybody for translation?
Attacked by the Lord Shiva's golden arrows, all the demonic inhabitants of those three dwellings lost their lives and fell down. Then the great mystic Mayadhanava dropped the demon into the nectarian well that he had created.
So if we remember the storyline, actually, originally the demons were actually defeated. They approached Mayadhanava. Mayadhanava created the three abodes, which are mystical abodes. And the demons could not, so the devatas could not do anything. They were not able to, because it was getting invisible, and they completely got defeated. The devatas got defeated because demons attacked using these mystical places. Now, once they got attacked like that, they approached Lord Shiva. And only Lord Shiva is himself a Maha Yogi, Maha Siddhi, right? So he is a Maha Yogi. And therefore, he also had counteracting weapons which could actually destroy even those which are created by these kind of siddhis. So now what has happened is that, attacked by Lord Shiva's golden arrows, all the demoniac inhabitants of those three dwellings lost their lives and fell down. So now we have seen that they could not hide behind them anymore. They have fallen down, they are dead. Now Mayadhanava, he had another this thing up his sleeve. He had created a well which had nectar in it, a well full of nectar. Now we'll see what he's going to do. What is the mysticism that he's going to do? Purport here: the asuras are generally extremely powerful because of their mystic yogic power. However, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yoginam api sarvesham matgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamomataha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. The actual purpose of mystic yoga is to concentrate one's attention fully on the personality of Godhead Krishna and always think of him, Madgatena Antaratmana. To attain such perfection, one must undergo a certain process, Hatha Yoga, and through this yoga system, the practitioner achieves some uncommon mystic power. The asuras, however, instead of becoming devotees of Krishna, utilize this mystic power for their personal sense gratification. Maya Danava, for example, is mentioned here as Mahayogi, a great mystic, but his business was to help the asuras. Nowadays, we are actually seeing that there are some yogis who cater to the senses of materialists, and there are imposters who advertise themselves as God. Maya Danava was such a person, a god among the demons, and he could perform some wonderful feats, one of which is described here. He made a well filled with nectar and dipped the asuras into the nectarian well. This nectar was known as Mrita Sanjeevayitari, for it could bring a dead body to life. Mrita Sanjeevayitari is also an Ayurvedic preparation. It is a kind of liquor that invigorates even a person on the verge of death. So that is what we are seeing, that Maya Danava had created. He had created one nectarian well in which if you dip even a dead body, he'll come alive. Not only is he coming alive, but he gets the power of which can beat even thunderbolts. So that's what we'll see in the future, right? So here, if we are thinking about this, so why is Prabhupada in his purport talking about the Yoginamapi Sarvesham, when we are talking about the mystic powers of the demons and Maya Danava? Why did Prabhupada bring in this angle of it? Because Prabhupada, as all merciful and all compassionate he is, right? He's trying to tell us that mystic powers do not make a person great. It's the character which is making a person great. Character is all encompassing, like whether it is humility, forgiveness, compassion, these make a person great. And Yoginamapi Sarvesham is because if we think of examples also, Narad Muni also has great siddhis, right? He was also a yogi. Anybody who has performed Ashtanga Yoga and who had transcended towards the spiritual destination, because there are different ways of going towards bhakti and ultimately to the spiritual destination. It could be karma yoga, it could be jnana yoga, it could be ashtanga yoga, or it could be bhakti yoga. Now in ashtanga yoga, after performing all the different like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, asana, then pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. When you do all the 8 steps, there is a byproduct which you get, and the byproduct is siddhis. Right? Whether you are using the siddhis or not is a different matter. Narada Muni used to use his siddhis for what purpose? To travel between the different planets and preach. He's a Parivrajaka, so he was always in the preaching mode. He's always traveled to different planets. So he's using his siddhis in service of Krishna. Right? Appearing wherever he could appear. Like we have seen so many examples. He appeared to protect Kayadu. He appeared to give knowledge to Dhruv Maharaj. How would anybody appear in the middle of the forest when Dhruv Maharaj is actually, or when Dhruv Maharaj is actually worried about what to do and how do I achieve Narayana? Because his mother had advised him to do so. Narad Muni appears there. Wherever our heart is desiring very strongly that I need a method, I need a process, I need a way that I can go. He appeared even for he was instrumental in giving the knowledge to Prahlad Maharaj in the womb, right? And so many times we have seen Narad Muni appeared for Valmiki to write Ramayana. Everywhere we see at any important juncture, something great has happened in history, Narad Muni was there. So that is how he used his siddhis, that he appeared in front of somebody who is strongly desiring to be a devotee. But you may not be the greatest. And even what I heard from Radhanath Maharaj is that this does not mean that you have to be greatest of yogis to actually perform devotional service. You may not be the greatest of all yogis, and you may be totally helpless, powerless, and you're just a very ordinary person who is just doing about their chores in the normal, like just a housewife who is preparing the bhoga, and just a sweeper who is sweeping the temple. You could be anybody, right? Even if everything is against you, but all things in life, and if you just worship Krishna with that love and that faith, then you are the greatest of yogis. That is the reason why Prabhupada has actually mentioned that yoginam api sarvesha, right? Because even like we should not lose that hope that okay, only if we do great things can we be sheltered by Krishna. That is not true. You just have to have that transcendental faith in your heart and that love for Krishna, and that whatever it is, he's the supreme controller, he's the supreme protector, he is my well-wisher. If we have that faith, then Krishna always protects. And such a person, a yogi, yoga is what? Yoga is basically the art or the way of linking with the supreme, right? It's not about Ashtanga yoga. Yoga is basically about linking with the supreme. And what better way can you link than by thinking, feeling, and willing, right? So it does not matter even if your world is falling apart and you're unable to do anything about it. But even then, if you have this small faith, this element of faith that Krishna is there for me and he is there to protect me, that is good enough. So what is this yoginam api sarvesham? What does it actually tell us here? Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga. That is yoga. That unity is yoga. And that is the highest of all. So isn't this so simple? Actually, the solution is so simple. And but we are trying such complicated methods of trying to find the truth. right? Everybody tries so hard and still are not able to reach the truth, right? So sometimes as a byproduct of what you're doing, you may get siddhis. But what is the use of such siddhis if they're not used in devotion? What is the use of siddhis as Maya Danava has if he's using them to shelter asuras who are always envious of the Supreme Lord? What is the use, right? Though he is a Mahayogi, then what is the use? That is what we are seeing here. So now we go to text 60. Siddhamrita rasasprishta vajrasara mahauchasa uttasthur meghadalana vaidyuta iva vahnaya. Translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Translation. When the dead bodies of the demons came in touch with the nectars, their bodies became invincible to thunderbolt. And out with the great strength, they got up like lightning penetrating clouds. Hare Krishna Mataji.
See, they got revived. And what? Not only revival, it's not just getting the life back. Their bodies became invincible to thunderbolts. Matlab, even if thunderbolt attacks, nothing happens to the body. Endowed with great strength, they caught up like lightning penetrating the clouds. So imagine. And this is even after Lord Shiva actually tries this. He is the greatest of yogis, and he killed them. And despite being killed by Lord Shiva, they have got revived. Now, what would be the situation of Lord Shiva? Vilokya bhagna sankalpam vimanaskam vrishadvajam tadayam bhagavan vishnus tatropayam akalpayat. Translation. Anybody wants to read?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Go ahead. Translation. Seeing Lord Shiva very much aggravated and disappointed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, considered how to stop the nuances created by Maya Danava.
Yeah. So here what is saying? Lord Shiva, very much aggrieved and disappointed. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, considered how to stop this nuisance created by Maya Danava. So, yes, we'll proceed and we'll summarize everything. Vatsascha Brahma Swayam Vishnur Ayam Hikau Pravishya Tripuram Kale Rasakupamritam Papau. So,
Lord Brahma became a calf and Lord Vishnu a cow, and at noon they entered the residence and drank all the nectar in the well.
So we might think, acha, Lord Shiva is so aggrieved and disappointed. And Lord Vishnu might do something very powerful, something like Narsimhadev, right? But what did Lord Vishnu do? He became a cow. And Brahma became a calf. Isn't it surprising that what is the simple solution he actually found instead of coming with like so much like you might imagine, no? What is the entry of a hero? Like always the entry of hero, Krishna always enters this way only. Like when we saw Chaitanya Charan Prabhu actually describing the Mahabharata series, he was also telling that Krishna enters. Like everybody is thinking like how in movies Rajnikant is entering, the superstar, power star, and all the stars will be flashing on the screen. But when Krishna is entering, he is entering like a chariot driver. And Arjuna seems to be the hero here, right? And similarly here we will think that, okay, he's going to do something like very, very unbelievable, unimaginable to protect the demigods. But what has he done? He's actually come like a cow and entered the residence, drank all the nectar, simple. solve the problem. Yes. Text 63. Te sura hyapi pashyanto nanyashedhan vimohita tadvignaya mahayogi rasapalan idam jagau Smayan Vishoka Shokartan Smaran Daiva Gatim Chatam. Translation: the demons could see the calf and cow, but because of the illusion created by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons could not forbid them. The great mystic Maya Danava became aware that the calf and cow were drinking the nectar, and he could understand this to be unseen power and power of providence. Thus, he spoke to the demons who were grievously lamenting. So here comes actually the most important part. What happens after this, right? So what is happening here? The demons could see the calf and cow, but were they able to do anything? Were they able to attack the calf and cow? I think in those days even demons had some rules, like some boundaries that they don't cross. Today though, the danavas, the most asuric mentality person will actually kill a cow and eat, but in those days even danavas had rules, right? If we are seeing from here, why did he take the form of a calf and cow? Is because probably they had those kind of at least such boundaries even within their demoniac actions, that we will not kill a cow, right? But because of the illusion created by the energy of the Supreme Personality of God, the demons could not forbid them. They are drinking the nectar, but did they shoo them away? No, they can't do anything, because the Yoga Maya has actually made them helpless, powerless. All they could do is only see, nothing else. They couldn't do anything. The great mystic Maya Danava became aware that the calf and cow were drinking the nectar, and he could understand this is to be unseen power of providence. So he's taking it as a will of the Lord, and he spoke to the demons. So now if we actually see the last few verses, what are we trying to see here? So very wonderful things I have heard. I could not ever think that, okay, from these verses also we could make out this kind of meaning. But I heard that from Radhanath Maharaj, and that is the greatness of gurus. Probably they can see and they can tell us in a way that we can relate. So what he said was that very wonderful. What he said is that in life also we cannot see some of the most dangerous enemies. Like here, the demons were actually disappearing, right? They were hiding in those forts, the invincible forts, the powerful forts. But in life also, we can't see most dangerous enemies. Can you guess what are the most dangerous enemies in our life? Which is the most dangerous enemy?
Our mind, Mataji.
Exactly. And who said that? Krishna said that. The mind can be greatest of friends, or the mind could be greatest of enemies, right? And the mind could be greatest of enemies. Why? Because it is the storehouse of all the anarthas. If we look at the kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya, the shad anarthas, means lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, jealousy, anger, illusion, all this, where are they going and getting stored? And anything that you do in this world, in this material world, every activity has only one byproduct, and that is an anartha. It could be any anartha. You can just pick and choose from these anarthas. How am I saying so? I've already explained this many times, but at the cost of repeating myself, I will say it again just in case there is anybody new who has not heard of this. In the material world, the main source of every problem is actually a desire. And obviously we desire, even desire to act, even desire to speak. But every action is arising from a desire. Whatever action, we are active people in this material world, and we do a lot of actions every day. But every action ke liye there is a underlying is desire. Suppose you have desired something and you created a strong desire. Matlab, initially you are just contemplating. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. The first stage of a desire is actually you just thought of a desire. Next is you are contemplating. Okay, I want it, I want it, I want it. And the third stage is actually it becomes a deep desire, and you are saying that I can't survive without this. That kind of a desire. And that is called lust, right? Kama. That is lust. And then if you are able to achieve, there could be only two byproducts, right? Either you are able to achieve what you desired, or you can't achieve. Is there any other third possibility that we can see? We can't see any third possibility. Either you get it, fulfill your desire, or you're not fulfilling your desire. There is no midway. If you're fulfilling your desire, what happens? Any idea? What happens if you fulfill your desire?
More desires.
Yeah, you're not stopping there. You're not saying, okay, bas ho gaya, is janam ke liye I don't need any more desires. Not like that. You want more. You are quiet for some time. You are happy for some time. But after that, you want more. What is next? What is next? And that is called lobha, greed. Right? And the greed, you again try for more. And again, greed. You try for more. Again, greed. There will be a stage when this particular desire is not fulfilled also, right? Either that way or in the first step itself. You are not fulfilling your desire. What happens when you are not able to fulfill your desire?
Krodha.
Krodha, anger. And then after that, and when your anger becomes like you're totally frustrated in anger, it can make you do very unimaginable things. It can make you totally go into illusion, moha. And Mada Matsarya, it can get into madness of, I have to, even though I did not get it, it belongs to me only. This particular can't belong to anybody else. This is my desire. And I cannot not achieve this particular thing. Like that, we get into Mada and Matsarya. So illusion leads to madness and leads to fall down. And that's how we actually further become more and more degraded. So is there any possibility in this material world to have nothing but anarthas? There's only one possibility. When your desire is not a material desire, but something superior to that. Only then it will not have anarthas. And the superior desire is only to connect with the superior, with the Supreme Lord, with transcendental, everything. Transcendental is superior to material. Supreme Lord is superior to all the devatas who are present within this material world, because any factor of the material world, the Lord is always above that. So that's what. So the forts which are given by Maya Danava had these special abilities, but Shiva tried to destroy them also, right? But what happened? Could not destroy. So the Lord takes this form. So and the lessons that we can learn from this is that whoever you are in this world, the visible enemies will always induce you and empower, and they're always empowered by invisible enemies. So who are the invisible enemies? Are this lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, and the Shadanarthas. They are the invisible enemies who are sitting in our mind. Mind is the greatest enemy, right? So they cannot be seen. So it is always an invisible enemy. And they have the power to destroy and destruct us, right? But when we are seeing through the body, we'll not be able to realize this. When we are seeing through our normal intelligence, can we realize all this? Did we ever hear about all this in our school syllabus? That mind is your greatest enemy and that it is a storehouse of anarthas. How can you overcome the anarthas? Have we got this knowledge anywhere in our school curriculum?
No.
Have you come across this?
No.
Before getting in touch with Bhagavad Gita, after so many years of our life have passed, before this, have we ever heard about these things? All this time we were thinking that why are we getting depressed? Why are we getting so frustrated? Why do we get angry? Were we able to overcome the anger anytime? We were not able to overcome because we did not know the simple secret which was there lying hidden in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So Lord Shiva was empowered to destroy because destruction is preliminary stage for creation. For anything, destruction is the primary. Like even whenever creation happens, actually it happens after annihilation, right? And after every annihilation, there is a new creation with new features and something better also, right? And that's how if we see here, so that though Shiva is actually the greatest of the Devatas, in fact, he's beyond the spiritual, beyond the material plane also. He is actually, the Shambhu Tattva is between the spiritual world and the material world. If we see the Goloka chart, because he is actually the personification of Lord's glance. So like we discussed before, Lord's anything is non-different from Lord, right? So Lord, as his energy, as his name, as his form, as his glories, as his pastimes, as his paraphernalia, and even as his glance is non-different from the Lord. So Shambhu actually is that glance of the Lord, of Mahavishnu, which falls upon the Mahatattva. Mahatattva is the material energy. That is also Lord, or Lord's energy. Lord's external energy is Mahatattva. And when the glance falls on the Mahatattva, that's how the creation actually begins of the material universe, right? So that is actually the Shambhu. That is actually Shiva. Right? So he is greatest of all Devatas because he is beyond this material universe. Right? And therefore, he is, but why is he devastated? Why is he aggrieved? Because in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord says that actually you should not expect any result. Whatever you do, you should offer it to me. You should not be disappointed. Then why do you think is Shiva aggrieved here? What is the significance of that? There is a very important significance because he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. He is the greatest of devotees. And what is a devotee? What is the nature of devotee? The nature of devotee itself is compassion, mercy, and compassion for all the other souls, right? So Shiva is not disappointed because he's failed in his action. Shiva is more disappointed, aggrieved, and he's feeling agitated because he is not able to help the demigods, that the demons have revived even after he did his best. Not because he failed in his mission, not because of that. So here, we have to remember that even what appears to be a setback, we have to take the shelter of the right source. We have to always remember that. If we take shelter of the right shelter, we will always emerge stronger, right? So failures, losses, impediments, they all ultimately lead to our purification only. That is a process. We are undergoing a process. Why? Because we emerge stronger out of them. If there is something which is like really putting us down, we are totally shattered because of some activities. Even within the devotional life, there is something that you want to do, but you're not able to do that. There is certain activities that you really like to do, but you're not able to do that. Sometimes you feel very disheartened, but the fact is we should not be disheartened with that. We have to remember that this is a process. We are undergoing a process. We do not know the plan, but Krishna knows the plan. Krishna has already put a plan in place for us. And we are like a pawn just moving based on his action, based on his desire. If we just leave everything to Krishna and believe that, okay, whatever I am undergoing right now, it is a purificatory process, even if it is the most painful. And that's what here Devatas did. They accepted that. And they, including Shiva, actually, what has happened is that they are accepting that. And ultimately, they approach the Supreme Lord for shelter, right? And so, and even in this similar situation, we have seen there are examples right in front of us within this Kali Yuga itself, like Prabhupada, right? Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They made most abominable among Vaishnavas also, among people also Vaishnavas, right? Like hippies to happies. And so is that even conceivable by anybody, that you are just giving a mantra, you are engaging them in prasadam and kirtan, and they are turning completely? Then what are all these so many rehabilitation centers for? If everybody knew this simple trick, Do you need to actually shell so much money in the rehabilitation centers and still come out unsuccessful? When we are trying with our material intelligence, we are not able to do it. Why are the number of psychologists and psychiatrists increasing day by day? When everybody is getting depressed, they are approaching. Why? Because nobody has the spiritual knowledge that you have to engage in something spiritual and automatically everything will be taken care of. That faith, first of all, knowledge of process, we are totally in ignorance. And therefore we suffer that depression. But all the time engaging yourself in devotional activities gives you certain kind of bliss which is not explainable by in any of the material books of knowledge. Like for instance, Prabhupada, when he was going, he was all alone. He got 3 heart attacks on the ship. So anybody who sees this will only see that, okay, he is actually going towards failure. Here he failed. For 14 long years, he tried so much to bring a league of devotees together and try to spread Krishna consciousness in India. But our people were already so busy with their ritualistic lives. Nobody was ready to accept the knowledge of Bhagavatam or give him some helping hand. He carried paper bundles on his head and he was going so that he could save some money. He was going to those printing presses. For each paper that we are reading today, we are indebted to Prabhupada. Because these Bhagavatams, these Bhagavad Gita that we are reading today is actually his blood, sweat and tears. It's just a translation of that. If we read Lilamrita, I think I could not go beyond third, this one also, because before that only, every page only made me cry. What all he has done for us. And what are we doing? We have the books, we don't want to read them. We don't want to open a page. If we are not getting motivated to read Prabhupada's books, simple thing we should do is that just open Lilamrita and start reading it. Even after Lilamrita, if we don't get that tears in our eyes and if we don't start reading, no, our janma is waste only. I feel like that, because you won't believe I was actually a person who wouldn't read my textbooks. I was a person who wouldn't even read a 100-page book. If I pick up a 100-page book, I will think, oh my God, I have to read 100 pages. Let me find something which is 50 or 60 pages. That was my original self. That was my past. I was like so scared. My all friends used to finish novels by novels. I was the only one in my class who did not read any Nancy Drew, any nonsense. Because I was not interested in reading thick books. Be it textbooks also, I was not interested. But it was only Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, which actually made me change. And even before this, it was Lilamrita. Because I was wondering, everybody is so much in praise or reverence of Srila Prabhupada. What is in Srila Prabhupada that everybody is so dedicated to him in Krishna consciousness? This made me think that what is it that I want to know more about this person. And at the same time, there was some announcement in the group saying that because Srila Prabhupada's appearance day or disappearance day, our ISKCON Abbots is selling the entire set of Lilamrit for 500 rupees. Imagine, 7 books. We buy one Chutku comic book here. Nowadays, we are spending 500 rupees for our kids and we are still happy to buy that. 7 books of Lilamrit. We are getting for 500 rupees. We are not ready to read it. Then if so many hints and so many facilities are available to us to just make our life advance in some way or the other, if we just need to pick up one. And I picked up Lilamrita. And when I read the third, in fact, I told many people, please read. But I only till now haven't gone beyond third because I was so motivated then to read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam that I forgot that I have to go back to Lilamrita. Now this session is actually reminding me, because whatever I'm speaking, half of it is actually impromptu. I have not even prepared it. So please forgive me if I'm like talking too much, but that is what it is. So setbacks, we have to take the right shelter, right? and then you emerge very stronger, right? So Walt Disney, like for example, if we have to take a material example, Walt Disney was fired for no creativity from his first job. Can you even imagine? Walt Disney was fired because he had no creativity. Thomas Edison had 900 failures before he created his first bulb. And if somebody asked him, he was still enthusiastic for that 901st time, because he was saying, I know now what are the 900 ways that this does not work. If people can be so motivated in material life to achieve something like this, and just like Walt Disney for entertainment, if he could be, why can't we be motivated for perfecting our lives and get out of isn't that the biggest goal, which nobody, even Walt Disney, could not achieve, right? Isn't that the biggest goal, that we can achieve freedom from this place of misery? Of course, when devotees think, they don't even desire that freedom from place of misery, because freedom from place of misery is called liberation, mukti, moksha. But devotees don't desire that also. What do devotees desire? Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahetukitvai. You put me wherever you want. You place me wherever you want, even as a worm in the stool. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, even then, just make me a devotee. Let me have access to devotion, to bhakti, to something related to bhakti. And who perfected life in that way? Like Narada Muni, as a 5-year-old kid, just by being in touch with devotees, with great devotees, he was able to perfect his life. He became Narada Muni in the next life, right? So though Krishna says, don't be attached with results of actions, but Shiva was aggrieved to see adharma, because he is the greatest Vaishnava. He is a paradukha dukhi. And Krishna understood Shiva's heart, because Shiva is always under shelter of Krishna. So Krishna takes it upon himself, and then finally takes the form of the calf, cow and calf, right? Krishna and Vishnu, and because when he is doing any official duty, Krishna actually expands into Vishnu and then comes. He doesn't come out of his abode, right? So that's what we have learned. And and now we see what happens next. We are already close to the time, so I'll quickly go through the next. There are only few verses, 6 verses left, with short this ones and short purports. Devo suro naronyo va neshvaro stiha kaschana atmanonyasya vadishtam daivena pohitum dvayo. Translation and
Hare
purport.
Krishna. Should I read now?
Yes, Mataji, please read.
Yeah.
Please read the
Translation.
translation.
Yeah. Mayadhanava said, what has been destined by the Supreme Lord for oneself, for others, or for both oneself and others, cannot be undone anywhere or by anyone, whether one be a demigod, a demon, a human being, or anyone else. Hare Krishna.
Purport. The Supreme Lord is one, Krishna, the Vishnu Tattva. Krishna expands himself into Vishnu Tattva, personal expansion Swamsha, who control everything. So whenever he has to do an official duty and for protection of his devotees or for annihilation of the demons, right? So he takes the form of Vishnu. Maya Danava said, however, I plan, you plan, or both of us plan. The Lord has planned what is to happen. No one's plan will be successful without his sanction. We may make our own various plans, but unless they are sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, they will never be successful. Hundreds and millions of plans are made by all kinds of living entities, but without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, they are futile. See, Maya Danava also has knowledge. It's not that demoniac don't have the knowledge. Hiranyakashipu gave a big lecture only about self-realization to his family when Hiranyaksha died. We have seen this in the past few chapters, right? It's not that they are without knowledge. It's just that our free will takes or supersedes over Krishna's will, and that is when we become demoniac. When our free will supersedes Krishna's will. And this is something I found just now myself. Okay. So, which means that we want to do something that we like. We want to achieve everything for ourselves, right? But here, what is Maya Danava telling us? Telling his counterparts, the other demons, he's saying that he's given up. Because when he saw that cow and calf coming and drinking all the nectar, if he wanted, he could create another well of nectar. Is it very difficult for him? Is it that, okay, once you have utilized your power, you can't? But whatever you do, now he is understood that Lord has taken over. And if the Lord has taken over, nothing can actually stop that. So he's saying what has been destined by Supreme Lord for oneself, for others, or for both oneself and others cannot be undone anywhere or by anyone. That is what he is telling, right? Because Krishna is the supreme controller. Who is saying that? Brahma is saying that. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He's saying that. He is the supreme controller. Ishvara means controller. Parama, supreme, Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller. Sachidananda Vigraha. Anadir Govinda. He is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Anadir Govinda. He is the first. Nobody exists before him. Right? He is the oldest. Eternal. Right? So he may appear like a cow, he may appear like a cowherd boy, he may appear like a tortoise, he may appear like a lion. He can do anything with his sweet will. He can appear like anybody. Because he is the controller of all controllers. Right? Our all frustration is due to because we want to control things around us. Right? The whole idea of us transporting from the superior spiritual world into this inferior material world was also wanting to be a controller of something. That was our desire. We desired we also should enjoy like Krishna. We also want to be controllers. And we thought that we will be the controllers, but we have very infinitesimal control in our infinitesimal lives, right? But reality is we are always the controlled. He is the source of everything and everything that exists, whether it is existing in spiritual world or material world, he is all pervading. It's not that he created the material universe so he can't enter here. He is all pervading. He can appear anywhere. It's true that J.K. Rowling cannot appear inside Harry Potter. But if she wants, she can appear. Right? She is the creator of Harry Potter. And if she wants, she can appear. She chooses not to appear sometimes. But Lord appears through his energy. Right? He's all pervading. He pervades into every atom. So with the Brahman, and like Lord has three features, right? Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Where Brahman is actually, what is Brahman? Brahman is the all-pervading energy of the Lord. It's his effulgence. And through that, he pervades even in every atom that exists. So atom exists even in animate or inanimate, living or non-living. We need not think that, okay, atom is existing only in living. No, we all know. We have read chemistry in our schools. So we know that everything, any matter has atom. And in every atom, there is Supreme Lord. True is that is called Brahman, all-pervading energy of the Supreme Lord. And then he's sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma, as a living, as a super soul, right? That is our next step of realizing. If we realize that he is all-pervading, that we are still impersonal and we are thinking that, okay, yes, he is the energy. Next level, yes, he is the energy and he's also the Supreme Lord who is sitting within our heart. Still, we have not yet accepted him as a person with rasas, with his likes, with a form, with a beautiful Tribhanga form, with holding a flute in his hand, wearing a pitambari cloth, We have still not recognized him like that, but we accept that he is sitting as super soul sitting within our heart. We got the Paramatma realization, which is usually what is aspired by all the yogis. That dhyana, dharana, samadhi. Dhyana, they meditate. Dharana, they put the object of meditation. Object of meditation is the super soul. Eventually, at the end of samadhi, they actually get the 400 form of the Lord. They realize that yes, and who is that? Actually, that is the Kshirodakshai Vishnu, who appears in this material universe, right? And from there, all the incarnations are actually sourcing from there. Therefore, super soul, which is sitting in our heart, is also a plenary portion of the Supreme Lord. All this is mentioned in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We just need to read it, and we will know that what are the different forms of the Lord, right? That he is the controller of all controllers. He is not afraid of anybody, but he can be the all ferocious, like Narsimhadev. He's not afraid of Kamsa. He's not afraid of all the demons. Even when he was a 2-month-old baby, he killed demons. Right? Was he afraid of any? But how come he is afraid of gopis who just have a stick in their hand? Right? He's really afraid of them. And because that is the rasa he is actually engaging them. So he can do anything with his will. He does not fit into our definition of how he should act. And therefore, Maya Danava actually understood that whatever he does, he is destined to lose, and there is no point in making any more plans. He gives up. Not only does he give up, he is also telling the other demons that this is the reality. You have to accept your will of providence. Now, I cannot do anything for you because anything I do will be failed. Krishna will supersede, right? Go to the next shloka. अथासौ शक्तिभिः स्वाभिः शम्भो प्राधानिकं व्यधात् धर्मज्ञानविरक्तिरिद्धि तपो विद्या क्रियादिभिः रथं सूतं ध्वजं वाहान् धनुर्वर्मा शरादियत् सन्नद्धो रथमास्थाय शरं धनुरुपाददे. Translation. Narad Muni continued. Thereafter, Lord Krishna, by his own personal potency, consisting of religion, knowledge, renunciation, opulence, austerity, education, and activities, equipped Lord Shiva. So this is the Bhagwan feature of the Lord. That's why all the opulences are mentioned, right? By his own personal potency. Equipped Lord Shiva with all the necessary paraphernalia, such as chariot, charioteer, a flag, horses, elephants, bow, a shield, and arrows. When Lord Shiva was fully equipped in this way, he sat down on the chariot with his arrows and bow to fight with the demons. Now what he's done, one task he did was that drank the nectar. So the source of all the problem, he removed. Then he also removed, just a second. Ah, 180 rupees. Sorry, Prabhuji saying that. Yeah. So, yeah, where was I? Like, yeah, the Bhagwan with his opulence, he has created the paraphernalia. And so what we see here that he drank the nectar as the cow, the source is gone. Maya Danava understood. He gets the realization that it is now Lord who is working and therefore he can't do anything. So all this has happened. Is the task completed? Still, demons are still there, right? They need to be destroyed. So that's why he now, again, Lord Shiva, fully equipped. He was given all the paraphernalia. Lord does not destroy by himself. Matlab, he is not taking the chariot and he is not taking the bow and arrow. He is not shooting arrows at the demons. He is not doing any of that. He still makes Lord Shiva do that, right? So as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.16, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the best of the Vaishnavas, the devotees of Lord Krishna. Indeed, he is one of the Mahajanas, the 12 authorities of Vaishnava philosophy. Swayambhur, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapilo, Manu, etc. All these are 12 Mahajanas. 12 Mahajanas means those devotees who lay the path for the others to follow, who follow the devotion to the perfection, right? And who have shown the devotion in the perfect way, like role models, right? For everything, we need role models. So the Mahajanas are actually the role models for devotion. Lord Krishna is always prepared to help all the Mahajanas and devotees in every respect. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. What is he saying? Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotees are never vanquished. Although Lord Shiva is very powerful, he lost a battle to the Asuras and therefore he was morose and disappointed. However, because he is one of the chief devotees of the Lord personally equipped him with all the paraphernalia for war. The devotee therefore must serve the Lord sincerely, and Krishna is always in the background to protect him, and if need be, to equip him fully to fight with his enemy. For devotees, there is no scarcity of knowledge or material requisites for spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. So that is Prabhupada's purport, right? So what is Prabhupada again glorifying here? Why Shambhu? Why Lord Shiva? Right? Because he is the greatest Mahajanas. And therefore, and how, even though he was morose, actually he has been given that this one, right? So what is and here very important for us to remember is also the Bhagavad Gita shloka, which says Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nithyabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. To them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Right? So Lord is ultimately, he is the one, he is the protector. He is the retainer. He is the um, uh, preserver. Everything. It is him only. But he is doing it through his. He does not have to every time do it personally and show his. All of us become instruments when we are doing something. Like there are many devotees, right, who may glorify you, saying that, okay, because of you, my chanting got serious. Because of you, I could do this. Because of you, I could go to the temple. There could be many things. Because of you, I understood something. We should not think that, okay, oh, it is because of me. Yay. Not like that. We have to remember that Krishna is using us as instruments to get another devotee closer to him. That's all. Each one of us is like a chain of his instruments. When I use instruments, many people know here that, okay, we actually laugh about it because Gaurang Darshan Prabhu actually used this instrument word a lot when he gives the class, and then since then we have started using this word. But we have to understand, we are actually instruments. We are not the real doers. Doer is always Krishna. Krishna is the doer and we are always the instruments. We have just been chosen to do a particular task. Why? Because not a blade of grass moves without Krishna's permission. If any time, if you feel that, yes, I was the one who gave so and so this, I was the one, I gave them books so they are reading. No, please first remember that not a blade of grass moves. Even the thought of giving, even your hand is working, your fingers are working, you're going and buying, the money is coming to you to be able to buy something for the devotees. Everything is because Krishna has provided it to you. Nothing is yours. You are not the doer. दिविदुन्दु भयो नेदुर्विमाना शतशङ्कुला देवर्षि पितृसिद्धेशा. Sorry, Mataji. Sorry, Prabhuji. I skipped this 67. Sorry. Sharam Dhanushi Sandhaya Muhurte Bhijitishwara Dadaha Tena Durbhedya Harotha Tripuro Nripa. My dear King Yudhishthira, the most powerful Lord Shiva, joined the arrows to his bow, and at noon he set fire to all the three residences of the demons and thus destroyed them. So now Lord Shiva is empowered, so he goes and destroys all the three residences of the demons. Dividundu bhayo nedur vimana shatashankula devarshi pitru siddhesha jayeti kusumotkarai avakiran jagurhrishta nanritush chapsarogana. Translation. Seated in their airplanes in the sky, the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems beat many kettle drums The demigods, saints, pitas, siddhas, and various great personalities showered flowers on the head of Lord Shiva, wishing him all victory, and the apsaras began to chant and dance with great pleasure. Text 69. Evam dagdva purastishro Bhagavan puraha nripa Brahmadibhi stuyamana Swam dhama pratyapadyata. O King Yudhishthira, thus Lord Shiva is known as Tripurari, the annihilator of the three dwellings of the demons, because he burned these dwellings to ashes, being worshipped by the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma. Lord Shiva returned to his own abode. In the last text, एवं विधान्यस्य हरे स्वमायया विडम्बमानस्य नृलोकमात्मना वीर्याणि गीतानि ऋषिभिर्जगद्गुरोर्लोकं पुनानान्यपरं वदामि किम्. Translation. The Lord Sri Krishna appeared as a human being, yet he performed many uncommon and wonderful pastimes by his own potency. How can I say more about his activities than what has already been said by great saintly persons? Everyone can be purified by his activities simply by hearing about them from the right source. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhagavad Gita and all the Vedic literatures fully explain that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, appears in human society as an ordinary human being, but acts very uncommonly for the well-being of the entire world. One should not be influenced by the illusory energy and think Lord Krishna to be an ordinary human being. Those who really seek the absolute truth come to an understanding that Krishna is everything, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Such great souls are very rare. Nonetheless, if one studies the entire Bhagavad Gita as it is, Krishna is very easy to understand. The Krishna consciousness movement is just trying to make Krishna known all over the world as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. If people take this movement seriously, their lives as human beings will be successful. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis. Thank you so much for participating in this class. If there are any questions and if I'm in a position to answer those questions, I'll definitely answer. Any questions, any feedback? Hare Krishna.
Class was very nice, Mataji. That
Thank
too on an International Women's Day, you have given a very beautiful class. Happy Women's Day for all Matajis and
Thank you, Mataji. Happy Women's Day to all the Matajis
thank you, thank
who are
you. It was
present here,
very-
not present, who are there in their homes.
Yeah,
To everybody, all the Matajis, Happy Women's Day.
very
I'm
nice class.
grateful
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
planned it that way, probably. I'm
Yeah,
grateful for the
yeah.
opportunity. And
I was just thinking the same
because
way.
half of the things I was speaking, whatever was coming to my mind, I was speaking. Some of the things I did make a note. But
No. It was very nice, very good this one, information. And Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we can conclude the class if there are no questions. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada book reading ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Happy
Hare
Women's
Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranams.
Happy weekend. Happy Krishna conscious weekend. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hilpa Mataji, we can conclude. Everybody can exit. Hare Krishna.